Arklahoma Today, and now we're going to turn it over to Kevin Jones and Eric Mathews.
It's the Local Color Radio Hour, live with a spotlight on local music, history, culture, comedy, variety, and more. Saturday, March 7th at 7 p.m. at the King Opera House, 427 Main Street in Van Buren, Arkansas. Sponsored by Garrison Music Company, the Pasta Grill, Yeager's Hardware, Chapters on Main, and benefiting the Drennen-Scott House and the Fort Smith Museum of History. Starring Joe Harden, Maggie Jones, Kevin Jones, the Numbskulls, Matt McCoy, Steve Kite, Gary Udodge, and Dan Maher. Also starring Caroline Spear and Greg Hall with What's on Display. Featuring also Dennis Seiler and Katrina Brandley, special musical guest Eric Mathews, and Nueva Imogen de San Luis. And now here's Eric Mathews.
I got the key to the highway, Bill got it down to go. Gonna leave here running, walking is much too slow. Going back to the boyhood, little girl behind better know. If you haven't done nothing, drive me away from home. To the moon, peaks over the mountain, little girl, I'm on my way. Got to roll this highway till the break of day.
Eric Mathews. You're going to hear Eric Mathews play on our show, and he's got some new music for you and all those old favorites. The Local Color Radio Hour has all kinds of music, not only blues like that great song you just heard, but also bluegrass and gospel, some Irish Scots music and gospel, and a little bit of everything. That's the Local Color Radio Hour. We've got it all.
All right, guys, wonderful. And we'll want some more music there. But we need to talk about what's happening so people can come and hear the music. So what I'm going to do with Kevin here,
sure.
Kevin, I think we're going to be talking back and forth. This does not have a lot of chord on
That's
it.
okay.
You stay right
Thanks.
there, Eric.
Yeah.
Here's Eric Mathews.
We're going to bring this up here. That way, if you guys talk back and forth, you hand the mic or just run it back
Sure,
between
sure.
you.
Thanks
So
for having us.
Yeah, we're happy to have you here, and a great performance already. But Eric is one of the special musical guests, and I'm just surprised at the number of people who participate in this with your brochure. And it doesn't list everybody. There's a bunch more coming.
That's right. We have the Fort Smith firefighters with Chief Terry Graves, and we also have Lee Crable, who's going to bring his elbow pipes. So we're going to have a good mix of all kinds of music, but that's the Local Color Radio Hour because it is local, and Fort Smith has so many different genres of music. We want to try and tap into that because part of our focus is to give a spotlight to local culture, history, music of all types, and it's certainly a variety show. But it is a fundraiser also, don't forget that, for the Fort Smith Museum of History, the Drennen-Scott House and the Wilhoff House in Van Buren. And tickets can be purchased right now at fortsmithmuseum.org/events, or you can get them at the door at the King Opera House, 427 Main Street in Van Buren, Arkansas, on Saturday, March 7th. The show is at 7. Tickets are only $10, and it's a good time. Eric, you've been on the show before. What's it like?
Yeah, I was brought in last time to talk about Seiler guitars.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Dennis Seiler built me a guitar last year, 2 years ago, to the specifications I wanted, and I was really happy and honored to come on and get to talk about the instruments he builds and just the quality that they are. I was pretty impressed with the...
He's got a banjo this time that he made.
He made a banjo.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard to make it rain.
He made it out of a pot,
Doesn't play.
kind of the Firefox method, you know, out of a pot and some hickory off of his family land. So
Yeah.
he's a very interesting guy. He's a luthier by
Yeah.
trade, but also the director of our honors program at UA Fort Smith. But yeah, Dennis and Katrina Brandley are also going to be in the show, and they're both fantastic musicians as well, and they're going to play some traditional tunes. But now you've won some blues challenges, right?
Yeah, we a few years ago we won the local portion of the International Blues Challenge. We got to go to Memphis and compete internationally, and didn't advance, but had a really good time, and it was a very valuable experience.
And the Eric Mathews Band has an album out right now,
Yeah.
a new one coming.
Yeah, a new one kind of in the works in the early stages, but yeah, we've got one out on all the streaming platforms, or come to a show and buy one for physical copy, or however you'd like to do that.
But bandcamp.com.
Bandcamp, you can buy it, but you can stream it on Spotify or Amazon. Or
And
Apple
Joe Harden
Music.
has an album still out there,
Mhm.
Come On Highway, at CD Baby, or you can get it at Apple Music or other places too. We're very thrilled to have all of these talented musicians on our show. Maggie Jones is singing with us too again. Very glad to have her on the show as always. And the Numbskulls, they're fantastic. Always a lot of fun and high energy with those guys, supported by Saps. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Supported by, I'm here, who, the Saps?
Yes.
The Numbskulls and the Saps?
The Society for the Appreciation of the Pickling Sciences.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I knew that was something great.
The Numbskulls are really great. They always bring, again, high energy and lots of fun, and their songs are good mirrors of what's happening locally, either socially, politically, or economically, anthropology. Yeah, it's great.
Kevin, take a minute, if you will.
Yes, sir.
And tell us how this started. How long it's been?
This is our 8th show. We started them about March of 2018, and
What led to this? Just the
well, Caroline
the
and I were
talent
sitting
level
around talking about
in this area?
similar to Mysteries at the Museum. We wanted to highlight some of the special collections and artifacts, but the more and more we talked about it, I said, why not bring in musicians and all this other stuff? And we just like to, I've always been about special interest or what's happening locally, and I've written 2 books on history here locally, and it's always fun to do that and highlight what people are talking about. And the King Opera House is a historic space we've been in now twice. I'm very excited to go back there. Have you performed there, Eric?
It's been a long time, but yeah, I was there several years ago.
It's a fun and historic space to be in. We had the Van Buren High School Choir there with us one time, but this time we've got this great eclectic mix of all types of music. This Mexican banda group is coming, La Nueva Imagen de San Luis. They're a local group, but they travel all over the country. They have their own RV. They're nationwide. They're really great.
All right, so guys, let's talk a little bit here. I'm going to tell everybody, do my part here, of the dates. It's coming up Saturday, March 7th, 7 p.m. Doors open at 6:30. Tickets at the door are $10. Of course, ages 6 to 15, $5. And of course, tickets are available now at the door, or you can go to www.fortsmithmuseum.org/events. And it really helps the museum because it's a nonprofit and needs support.
That's right, it does. It is your Fort Smith Museum of History, and we are certainly highlighting this unique show in Van Buren this time with Drennen-Scott House. It's kind of we joke about it as our North Campus for UA Fort Smith as we've taken it over, and the people of Van Buren have been so welcoming, especially the Pasta Grill and Jaeger's Hardware, Chapters on Main, Garrison Music Company here in Fort Smith. We have some great sponsors who are really behind the community, and so we should help these local businesses as well, because that's part of what we do. The show also offers some little known facts or what's on display at local museums that maybe you pass by and you don't realize that's there. So we're trying to highlight that as well.
This comedy that everybody
Yes,
kind of gets
there's some
involved
comedy in
and
it.
has
Yeah.
some fun.
Sometimes it's intentional. Yeah.
I tell you though, when you look at all this local music, history, culture, comedy, variety, and more,
That's right.
a lot of fun. All right, so anything else we need to mention? Kevin Jones and Eric Mathews.
No, but thank you, Eric, for being
Yeah,
here.
man, of
Appreciate it.
course. Yeah, glad to be here.
Great performance, and
Thank
thank
you.
both of you for being here on Arklahoma Today.
another decade.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, there you go. Of course.
Thanks, Butter.